During this video we're gonna see why this cryptozoological animal that is with us from ages and during a bunch of time was able to reach until today, and there's people that stay believing in this kind of animal. It was surviving by different cultures, different countries: the Yeti in the Himalayas, the Sasquatch in Canada, Bigfoot in United States. Of course, it won't be impossible to be another funny animal in the United States, the Hivion in Japan, and the Almasty in Russia. Yes, we have another guy with big hair in Russia, and I'm talking about the Bigfoot. Why we have this kind of animal, I can tell you right now. They were bears. So, as always, we're gonna start from the beginning. Charles Darwin published his own theory about evolution, known as the theory of evolution. Check this out, man. In 1895, it was a really big time along, and he was already done. He made a really big investigation around the Galapagos Islands, and he was researching about the idea that maybe the Bible is not saying the truth, or maybe it was wrong. I must say that he was really advanced for his time, because saying the Bible is wrong, God doesn't exist, Adam and Eva didn't exist, we're living because the monkeys were our fathers. He published this theory and it was amazing because everybody went crazy. He also, with his publication, he was able to say that his theory could be wrong. He made a funny way of investigation. This funny way investigation is this one: when you base your own investigation on empiric and observation, some of those investigations, they are not so incredibly founded. He made the idea of maybe some of the species could not be the idea of evolving that he was planning in the theory. If that is true, someone is able to find this kind of amazing shams on evolution, his theory, it won't be true. I must say that that was a really nice advance of the researchers of scientific or whatever, because most of the scientific guys that I work with, they are something, yes, the UFOs exist, and this because I have some footage, and they made a paper, and the paper was published, and everybody was happy. I was reading a lot about Darwin, but I didn't research about this part that he said, no, maybe my theory could be wrong in this case. Amazing. Thank you, Darwin. And of course, Darwin is the father of the memes of someone jumping in a train, and the expectation is obvious. I think I talked too much about Darwin. We need to talk about Bigfoot. During that time, in the end times of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, most of the efforts of the scientific people was to discover a bunch of bones inside an ape and a human. Nowadays, we know that this jump is not so easy to understand, because it seems that at least in 1 or 2 or 3 moments, we were able to have a bunch of siblings, human-like. For example, the Neanderthal, that in the last 20 years we were able to understand that the Neanderthal wasn't our fathers. It was something like a cousin or uncle. Uncle would be nice. We are something like a version 1.5 of Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens, but we have some difference with the first Homo sapiens, the first version of Homo sapiens. Now we can understand that there are people looking for something between an ape and a human. And this Bigfoot idea appeared in several places, in several countries, in Japan, in Russia, in Himalayas, of course, Canada was the Sasquatch, and of course, the United States, that if you want to create any funny animal, for example, the chupacabras, it's amazing the idea of chupacabras. It's something like a Mexican or Latin American alien that suck cabras, goats. The chupacabras is something amazing, but we're not talking here about chupacabras. We're talking about Bigfoot, this guy. Yes. So this is the main footage that all the cryptozoologists say that this animal exists. This is the Patterson-Gimlin footage, supposedly found in 1967. They say that they were walking, chilling around, saying, yes, you know, oh my God, there you are, it's the Bigfoot. There's a bunch of people say that footage is completely and absolutely fake. It's so fake that my ex-girlfriend orgasmed. sound real. We need to talk about Bigfoot. There are several legends about Bigfoots. There is no connection between Bigfoots and aliens? Let me check. There is a connection between Bigfoots and aliens. Maybe Bigfoot could be an alien. Let me read this one because it's something that you won't believe. The connection between Bigfoot and aliens is a theory suggesting that the elusive creature might be extraterrestrial origin, supported by anecdotal evidence such as reports of strange lights or orbs. Okay, the idea of Bigfoot and the UFOs and the chupacabras, there were some funny lights when they saw the Bigfoots. What a night! In one night you can see Bigfoot walking around, chilling around, and then you have a UFOs and you need to deal with the chupacabras, man, with some street on it, with a street in his face. I guess in most of the cases Bigfoot is a bear. That's it. Big stuff. After the appearance of this footage, I'm talking about the Patterson-Himlin footage that appeared in 1967 in California, they say. There is one guy that say, yes, I wear the costume and I needed to walk this way, but there is no evidence even for the guy saying that he was the one. Someone is saying not the truth. For example, Patterson is having economical problems and all the stuff, but the main damage of this whole situation inside the cryptozoologist appear in the room. Cryptozoologist is a kind of science. They don't go for the natural way of the science. What is a natural way of the science? Observation, hypothesis, demonstration, refutation. There's one part if you're making a really nice investigation that you need to check if your theory could be refuted for someone else, and conclusion. That is the way of investigation, the scientific. It means that you follow a really nice and funny steps. But cryptozoologists, they don't have the same idea. They say, okay, conclusion, Bigfoot exists, and now we need to show to the world. We need to demonstrate that Bigfoot exists. This is not the way of the scientific. We have this kind of evidence, and based on those evidence, we can imagine that we have this same kind of animal between human and ape, like this one that you're watching right here in the video. This is the main idea of why the cryptologists, they don't follow the scientific way. And there is something else, because cryptozoologists, they have the same idea of saying we bring new animals, unknown animals to the world, because nobody is going to find new animals in the world except us. And I can tell you that is not true, because every single year they find new animals inside funny caves. Most of them, they are small crickets with no eyes. Crabs could be also. They are not so funny and stylish like Bigfoot, but cryptozoologists, they believe, because this is completely not related with scientific research. You cannot base your investigation on believing. You need to be careful with that. Scientific people are so sensitive with those beliefs. You can base your investigation on believing, and these people, they believe. Inside that idea, they came into the conclusion that now they need to demonstrate to the world that their belief is that the Bigfoot exists. And that's it. There's no really big stuff. I think it's fake. Bigfoot is big, hairy, and really dangerous, bad person. That's the description of a bear. Yes, I'm talking about bear. A really big, furry animal that attacks people. That's how bears works. Ladies and gentlemen, after destroying another myth in this channel, please do all the things that YouTubers like to do. Please like, comment. Do you believe that Bigfoot exists? Did you ever saw a really Bigfoot in your area? Did you ever saw a chupacabras, a werewolf, or the orgasm of my ex-girlfriend? Please like, comment, put something beautiful, and find it out.